That test that they took in class when we were gone is completely so easy.
Okay, yesterday I started out by trying to get you to talk. I got an F minus. So we're going to start over today. I'm going to start out, but then you're going to finish because my point is this. Every time when you're writing for IB, or let's not even talk about testing and IB. Good God, I'm so tired of hearing testing. Yes, you have to do that. What about life? Anyway, but one of the things, no matter where you are when you're talking about literature, and I tried to model it a little bit yesterday, or if you're talking about political articles or scientific articles, you've got to know the text. You cannot say, well, Stephen Hawking kind of disagrees with blah, blah, blah. You say Stephen Hawking said that man is just a higher rendition of the ape. Now, he said that. He wrote that. Now, instead of saying, well, he disagrees with that, you've got to show the text. That gives you legitimacy from the very beginning. It's just like a bloodline showing your, if you're trying to show where you came from. So, yesterday, you probably don't remember much, but do you remember that I used a lot of text? With it, this too silly place, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's what I want you to do today. And I'm going to go back to, you all have done some independent study, I know. But dealing with text, I want to show you one thing. I'm not going to pass these out again. I was too long-winded yesterday. But this is a copy from the textbook, including Hamlet, the first year I came to Temple High School. It's Ophidia's Ramblings. And do you remember the somewhat dirty language that I read out loud to you the other day, yesterday? You may not remember anything else, but you remember that. Anyway, that's been taken out of this so that she wanders around. I'll let you see this after I'm just not going to take time to hand it out. So she says, he is dead and gone. She just has the nice little lines. Now, when I had taught Hamlet before I came to Temple High. And so this was Act 4 of the sign. They had to read it at home. They had a quiz, then we were discussing it. And so when I opened it up to discuss this with them, the very important scene that's textually so important, I got to it and I said, wait a minute. There's something missing from my text. May I borrow your book? Oh, there's something missing from yours too. Huh, yours too. Everything else in Hamlet was the same, but Ophelia's ramblings, her subconscious ramblings were left out. So it didn't take me longer than 30 seconds after class was over to go call the textbook committee. I just moved back to Texas. I'm a Texas girl, born in New Haven, Connecticut, but that didn't last long with me. I'd lived other places like that, but I'm a Texas girl. So I called I said, well, wait just a minute. I'm just got through teaching Hamlet. There's something wrong with our textbook. I want a refund. I want new editions. And we'll get back to you, Mrs. Adams. And of course, I didn't get back to him. He said, well, they invited me down to talk to the textbook. I said, I want to know why, when I'm teaching Hamlet, I have to teach a version that isn't correct. Well, and they started reading from some policy thing. Well, you know, it might invite some uncomfortable conversation in class. I said, yeah, like the fact that Ophelia's pregnant. Well, now, I'm not one that wants to sit and talk about stuff. Yeah, good God. I mean, if that's sick, and I would never want to do that. But if it's in the play, don't put the play in the book if you're not going to put textual clues as to what's going on. So, just a second, I've got it. So, anyway, the next year, I I used my own money. Now it was repaid later because people felt guilty and ordered another edition of Hamlet, so we have the real one. Now, that's the importance of text, and you've got to have it there. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to have you talk to me. I've talked about women, and what one of you had a theme that you were talking. I've talked about Ophelia a lot, and since there's just two women in here, they get more than they're due, but they deserve it in a way. Gertrude and Ophelia. What were the different topics you all were researching? What did you say? Gender issues?
I said feminism.
Feminism. All right. What did you all study? What were the research things that you did?
She's asking about the groups
Huh?
that you were
Psychology, philosophy, mythology.
Gender, psychology, mythology. All right. And philosophy. Okay. Can you give me some quotes from the play? No, don't get it out right now. Don't get it out right now. You're not going to have this with you. You're not going to have this with you. So, but this is not the day of the test. This is to help you prep for that. We talked about feminism. Give me a quote that somebody give me a quote that deals with the topic of feminism. Mm-hmm.
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
I don't know, my lord, what I should think. Okay, that's Ophelia talking to he said, hey, you know what?
Right.
And he said, what do you think about that? This is when he's irritated with her, and she says, I do not know, my lord, what I should think. But by golly, does she let us know later? One of the most famous lines in there. And after they leave, we'll go there. Okay. And in fact, I want you to go there right now. Open your text, because if you don't read anything else. Just a minute, here we go. I have to mess it up. Oh, what a noble mind is when Hamlet, after he said, I did love you once. She said, well, you let me know you did. Let me think you did. He sees the little things back there. And then he starts, just goes off the deep end. Now, I'm gonna stop right here. How do we know, and one of the big questions you all asked me talked about yesterday, some of you said, is he crazy? Or don't you love that word? That's the worst word. What, somebody said psychology? If you're studying psychology and you come in and say somebody's crazy, that's like calling somebody a bad name, because crazy, what does crazy mean? What does crazy mean? It doesn't define anything. He's a blank. What does that mean? So know your text. Now, we have quotes in here from Hamlet that indicate whether he's crazy or not. We're going to get to Ophelia in just a minute. Any quotes that comes up about 6 or 7 times in the play. The first thing that happens after he sees the goat. Now, please interrupt me. Don't let me do all the talking. I'm going to develop a sore throat, imaginary sore throat. I can't talk. So don't let me do all the talking. Please jump in. Come on, you're the student. I'm going to go home and do other things. You're going to, I hope, learn to love Hamlet if you don't already. I think it's the greatest play ever written because of what it deals with. All right, but let's talk about this. After he sees the ghost, and he comes back at the end of Act 1, Marcellus, but mainly Horatio. Oh, God, Horatio's an important character. Horatio is his best buddy. They're college, probably fraternity brothers at University of Wittenberg, and he has come out of respect for Hamlet. And Hamlet says, let me warn you all about something. I'm going to put an antic disposition on. Okay. Antic is a synonym for manic, and you all are very familiar with manic depression. Some of you intimately, some of you, it's probably the psychological illness that has been most prominent in your generation, manic depression. Usually just identified as depression, but then get into abuse and other things. But anyway, Hamlet said, look, I'm going to warn y'all about something. I'm going to put an antic disposition on. I'm going to act funny because I don't want Claudius to have a hint of what I know or don't know. So he puts that on. And then his best high school buddies. Now he's his college buddy, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. He's about to read a play. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. They come. They've been sent for by the king to find out what's wrong with him. And he says to them, he's so happy. He said, oh my God, he said, what are you doing here? Oh, it's so good to see you. And they kind of go, ah. He said, you were sent for, weren't you? Well, yeah, we were. So Hamlet gets it from the first. He's sharp. And he says, all right, I'm going to tell you something. You confide in me. You've heard stories about me. In reality, I'm mad up northwest. Yeah, I'm upset. But when the wind's from the south, I know a hind from a hacksaw. So he's confiding to his friends. So this is twice he has said, I'm going to pretend to be mad, right? All right. So is he? What is mad? What is crazy? He's obsessed with his mother. After he says, what we find out about in his two soliloquies, of course, it's the obsession with his mother and father, stepfather, her sexuality and her hasty marriage, as he says now. But the two best, this is why it's so important, the two best analysis of who Hamlet was before his father's death, they come from Ophelia, Ophelia, after she has just said, I know not what to think, but boy, then she turns and she tells us exactly what the situation is. And if anybody knew Hamlet, she did. And then at the very end, oh, don't overlook Fortinbras. Fortinbras, the young prince who comes in and just walks in and takes over Denmark. No fighting, no anything. And it's his estimation of who Hamlet was. We're going to look at those lines. But for right now, and then we'll move on. I want you to go to page 207. No, that's not true either. I'm so sorry. Page 133. 133. This is after Hamlet has said, go to a nunnery. And I stopped here the other day because I want you to look at this. This is such an important summary. Okay, right in the middle of the page, do you see where it says to a nunnery go? He exits. Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. The courtiers, now look at all these words, the courtiers. Oh my goodness, he knew exactly how to act. He was sophisticated. Soldiers, oh my God, he was such a brave and knowledgeable soldier. And brave, I want to emphasize. Scholars, he was brilliant. Made a perfect score on the SAT. National Merit Scholar. Oh, he was handsome. Tongue, oh my goodness, he could speak. Sword, oh, what a swordsman fighter he was. The expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down. And I of ladies most dejected and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason like sweet bells jangled, out of tune and harsh, out of time and harsh, excuse me. That unmatched form and stature of bloom youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, to see what I see. Oh, that's so important. What is it more? Is it more powerful coming from Ophelia than from, say, Horatio? Is it? It's an opinion of yours because you were dealing with feminism. I'd say this gal here has pretty good insight, and she's heartbroken. And this is before she loses it, so to speak. The irony that she thinks Hamlet, and he may be, is off kilter, and then she certainly doesn't come. Now, Hamlet's friends. Horatio is his best friend. And when he says to Horatio at the play, I want you to help me look at the king to see if he shows any guilt at all. And Horatio says, well, why me? Thou art e'en as just a man as e'er I have dealt with all. Thou art e'en as just a man. Now, the word just, remember nothing else about him. Just, now, because we've used it in all kind of ways, but the origin, it's the root word of the word justice, right? So if thou art e'en a just, fair, you're fair, you can weigh both sides of the story. You can weigh everything without getting out of kilter. Thou hast dealt with the buckets and the rewards of life as the same. If you win something, you don't go, ah, wonderful. Or if you lose, you don't go, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. Things, you're in as just a man. You don't get overwrought about anything. Philosophy, psychology. So Hamlet adores Horatio. He's a little jealous of him because Hamlet doesn't want anybody to do that. The other Renaissance men that we have in here, Horatio, Hamlet, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. You're about to read the play. Have you? I don't know if you already read it or started it. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, the high school friends, come to visit him. Now, Hamlet, one of the things that makes me think Hamlet's not altogether gone, is when he says, you're sponges. You soak up, because Hamlet, the king, Claudius, said, I want Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, I want you to take Hamlet to England because he's going to collect the tribute money. It's overdue. And give them this letter. Of course, what does the letter say? Kill this man. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, oh yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. They want to suck up to him. Oh. And so Hamlet realizes that he said, you're just sponges. You just soak up the king's good wishes. Remember that word, sponge. How does Hamlet find out about Rosencrantz and I love it. Some scenes take 50 pages. But when you get to Act 4 and 5, it goes bang, 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 gotta hurry up, finish this play. No more poetry here, gotta go. So always the action, I mean, if you blink, you miss something. Whereas in Act 2, if you blink, you're still at the same spot. While they're on the pirate ship, excuse me, while they're on the ship going to England, Hamlet sneaks into Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's bedroom and takes out the letter. Have y'all read this? You know it? Am I repeating something you know?
Keep going, please.
It's a good review.
What?
I said it's a good review.
Okay. This is plot. So when they're on the ship going to England, so he sneaks into their bedroom, takes the official letter, and pries it open and reads, "Kill this man." So Hamlet's gonna go. Hamlet said, "I don't think so." So he rewrites a whole nother, how Texan is that? A whole other letter and says, "Kill the bearers of this message," which would be Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. And he puts it back in the envelope, and he still has the signet ring of his father, so that he can put the official stamp on the back of it. He's not totally Looney Tunes, is he? If he can work this out. So he has it stick just like this. And so then this is where the plot gets almost silly. It's not though if you're on the ship. So they're attacked by a pirate ship. And everybody, ah! And Hamlet kind of looks in, he said, "I think I'd be safer on the pirate ship than right here." So while everybody's fighting, he kind of goes, and he sinks down and hides on the pirate ship. If you miss that, it happens in just a minute. But now, you don't have a lot of quotable quotes here because it's not in the iambic pentameter that the rest of the play is. This is just kind of like you're reading a summary on something. So that's how the only time that we see for absolute sure that something's wrong is when he overreacts to his mother. When he finally has the scene with her, this is the climax of the play, where we absolutely know that things aren't going to go well. Because he goes in and says, "Mother," he holds up the mirror. So he said, "This is the picture of my father, who adored you, hung on your every word. And this is the picture of that pig that you sleep with now." Okay. Are you telling me they're the same? And he says, "How could you? How could you?" And she says, "I get it. Oh, Hamlet, I see myself now. I see myself. If he could only stop and say, okay, where do we go from here?" But he can't. "Well, let me tell you what else. Let me tell you what else. And what else. And what else." He can't let it go. He can't let it go. He's so upset about it. And that's when the ghost comes in. This is when it's never going to work out for him. The ghost says, "Let thy mother be. You've forgotten what I asked you to do." What was that the ghost asked you to do? "Avenge my murder. Kill the king." Well, I mean, he says a lot of things. You can't remember that. I've read this 1,001 times. You just read it 1,000. So he says, "Avenge my death." And so when he's going after his mother like that, he's like, "Hey, don't get sidetracked. This is what you're supposed to be doing." And Hamlet's sitting there talking. His mother says, "Who are you talking to?" The ghost there. And that's when he loses his mother. His mother goes to Claudius, says he's mad, he's mad. So, it's over at that point. Go to the very last of the play. I think it's, 287. Now, after all of the murders, again, going so fast, we have Claudius and Gertrude sitting up here on the thrones. Then we have Laertes and Hamlet fighting, right, swordsing. And they've stacked the deck. Laertes, the king, has had Laertes put poison, an unction of Montebac. That's a poison on the tip of the sword, right? Am I saying that right? I can't remember exactly what the poison was, but I think it's an unction of Montebac. Don't ask me what it is, but it's something that kills you. And so that when he sticks Hamlet and breaks the skin, it puts that poison just right here. And then, just to make sure, Claudius has put poison in the cup of wine. He says, Hamlet, come here, I drink to your health. And he's going to poison him, just to make sure. But the mother said, Hamlet says, oh, no, I'm all right, I don't want it right now. And Gertrude grabs it. Is this how you all understand what happened here at the end?
Mhm.
She drinks it and then realizes in 30 seconds or so, oh my God, the cup. She realizes that Claudius wanted to poison Hamlet. And of course, she's the one who's poisoned. And then Hamlet picks up the sword that he's been hit with and pierces the skin of Laertes. And Laertes' last words are, I'm killed by my own treachery. And his last words, he apologized to Hamlet. I'm sorry, Hamlet. But he got caught up in the conspiracy where Hamlet the first, Claudius coming up now. So then Fortinbras marches in with his army. Look at the last page, 287. Now, when Hamlet is lying there dead, Horatio comes up there and says, give me some of the poison that I may drink. And Hamlet says, he's got his wits about him because he says, no, Horatio, you're the only one who knows the story. Everybody here thinks I'm crazy. You've got to stay alive to tell my story. And so Horatio says, okay. So when Fortinbras and his army come marching in, there are about all these dead bodies lying around that they had expected to find. And Horatio says, I'll tell you what happened. But look what Fortinbras says. I love Fortinbras. Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royal, and for his passage the soldiers' music and the right of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies, such a sight as this becomes the field. That means the fighting field. But here shows much amiss. go bid the soldier shoot, what he's talking about, it's the salute, the 12-gun salute for the warrior. So his last act of somebody he had come to conquer is to order Hamlet's body lifted up on a catafalque by 6 soldiers in the highest, it's like the Congressional Medal of Honor and the Silver Star, Bronze Star, all the stars. Give him the very highest honors, and may he lie in state and be honored. So, how do we know who Hamlet was? We have Fortinbras, an outsider, who was really an enemy somewhat, but recognized greatness in an enemy. And then we have Ophelia, who had known him so well. And then we have Hamlet's own voice. I'm but mad north, northwest. Okay, now Mary is going to shut up. And you're going to talk to me and each other. Tell me in your mind, you've been working on this for about a week, is that correct?
Longer than a week.
Thank you. Longer, several weeks. Gotta love it, Mr. Carlton. We teachers stick together. Tell me, when you are thinking about it, what is one passage, you may not be able to quote it here, but one passage that sticks out to you as being something worthy of talking about, that gives you insight that Mary hasn't, that you've come with your own. I'll give you a minute to look back through. You've talked about this, you've read it. I want to know what passage gives you the insight. You had different things to look at. Do you need a book, sweetheart?
No, she's just there.
Oh, here, Mama. There might be some other one. As soon as you're ready to share, let me know.
I mean, I can talk about that one quote about that before.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, because recently I have been reading some stuff, but I enjoyed Ophelia's character especially. I never really Gertrude's too much, though I did like at the end where she drank the cup anyways, knowing it was poison, because the king was like, "Hey, stop, don't drink." She's like, "Up and forgive me." She drinks anyways. That was good, but Ophelia specifically, I enjoy her because she has 2 different male roles consistently pressuring her, but also defining her as a character. And I view it as feminist. I don't know if Shakespeare was, but I view it as feminist, a concept, because it's a showing of how male roles in a woman's life can put her down and then define her. How she has
Her
to be
brother and
defined.
her father, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And additionally Hamlet as well.
And Hamlet himself, yeah.
And I think that's a great way for it to lead to her eventual madness, I guess, or sing-song scene. I think that's a good way to lead to that, and that she does have these 2 different pressures all the whole time she's struggling within to fit this definition that they're giving her.
And and this is a big if, we don't know, I didn't do the gynecological examination, but if she is pregnant, again, it is who suffers when there is a pregnancy as a result of sexual relations? Who suffers? Do you think? Oh, excuse me. I would like to invite some males to have the morning sickness that I've had. times, you deserve it. No, that's a bad joke. But, there is no, the feminism, just men telling them what to do.
To add on to like people pressuring her, I can't remember what page exactly, but I think it's when her brothers first like saying like, hey, don't do that, like don't let Hamlet like talk to you, and she kind of points out a double standard. She's like, okay, I won't if you do the same. Like,
That's
all
right.
this.
Don't you walk the primrose path of dalliance when you get back to Paris. That's a very popular line. Okay, I'll do it. What about you? Double standard? Oh, what do you think?
There's another one where, you know how yesterday we were discussing about whether Hamlet really loved Ophelia or not? And then you gave us a quote about him not knowing how to pretend. And then during, when the group leaders were burying Ophelia, Hamlet was saying how, I don't remember the exact quote.
I did love her.
Yeah, and then like not 10 men could sum up to my something. Yeah.
Not 10,000 men, I think, could sum up the love that I had for her. Absolutely. And Laertes is mourning, but you're her brother. You can't even begin to feel what I feel. Wonderful, wonderful.
But I did additionally, I think the Queen quote was, methinks she doth protest too much. I did enjoy that scene though, because I do enjoy mocking in general. I do enjoy that concept. So the play itself, I love that.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it shows the width. Methinks she does protest too much. And also when Polonius is going on, and he's the most long-winded person. The play would be half as long without Polonius. But she said, more matter with less art. I mean, get to the point. Get to your thesis statement. Forget all this long introduction stuff. Okay. Love that. And tomorrow, I mean, when right before Hamlet is dead on the ground, this last scene, and this is when the people come in from, and we have a message to deliver. Of course, Hamlet's dead, but Horatia's alive, and Fortinbras is coming in. He said, we have a message from England. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. And you want to say, join the party. Everybody else is too. But that's where the title of your next play comes from. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Have any of you ever been in drama or one-act play or gone to any of the competitions? Okay. Well, if you've gone to the state competition or even others, over and over again, you will see Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Have y'all ever seen that? It's overdone. That doesn't mean it's not a good play. Stoppard wrote. Didn't Tom Stoppard write the play? Yeah. It's a good play. I'm not saying that, but it's it's overdone in competition because it invites slapstick, and it's people falling on just acting and when you don't have star actors who can sit and mesmerize you with one scene, then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead is a wonderful play because it's ensemble and you don't have to cry and then be silly. It doesn't, let me just say this, it doesn't require as much breadth of talent. You gotta be able to fall down and not break your back, but a lot of falling down and like that. I would do it for you. If I were 89 instead of 99, I'd fall down and show it to you, but see if you think so. Overdue especially Lady Macbeth. Oh, what is it? My damn spot. Down, girl, down, girl. Yeah, it's just She's really like this. How damn smart. He was screaming. But again, they didn't ask me. And Shakespeare did not give any directorial instructions to play. Now I'm going to tell you something. I've got 1 or 2 more minutes. I want you to interrupt me if you have another insight. You are never to use this information that I'm telling you when you're writing, because you never, ever bring in an author's personal life. Oh, well, obviously his parents were divorced, so he didn't trust women. Deal with the text. That's why I'm breaking a rule, what I'm about to tell you now. Do you know about Shakespeare's own marriage? I'm going to tell you, I was there. And you can tell this. One of the ways when I'm traveling through Europe, or we think the old and Renaissance or medieval times, the church in the village is where all the history is. And if you go to the church in Stratford, you see that, I'm going to make up a date, April something. Will Shakespeare was married to Anne Hathaway. April. In August, you have the birth of their son. So it doesn't take, he dealt with this all, he didn't, and let me just tell you this, he was kind of a delivery boy. His stepfather and his father, he through the village, and Anne Hathaway was a widow with no children. Let's say Will Shakespeare was about 18 and she was 35. Because you have those dates in the church record. And one thing led to another. Yikes. You're gonna think all I am was a dirty old woman, but anyway, no, I'm a lot of other things. I could be a nun in another line. But anyway, so they end up getting married, and then they have this son, and within 6 or 7 months, Shakespeare moves to London and never really comes back. So I don't know much. I'm not going to get into all the rumors. And every day there's a new rumor about Shakespeare. Find something else to talk about. President Trump or something. I don't know, but don't talk about Shakespeare. But if you look at, he never really came back. And he brought his son there for a while, but we don't know what else. Did he have other dalliances? I don't know. Did he have male lovers and female lovers? I don't know. Makes a good story, but I don't know. But I have a feeling that Ophelia, when you write about him, you don't tell your own story when you're writing, but your experience and your feelings especially kind of come out just like this now and then. So I don't know. That's one of the other reasons that I think Ophelia is an interesting character. Well, happy graduation. There is life after high school. There's a great life after high school. I've really enjoyed my time with you over the last 2 years. And if you, sporadic and as it may be. But before I leave, is there anything about Hamlet that you want to ask me or that you'd like to know?
What?
You spent so much time with it, you're probably ready to move on.
Plus this scene where Gertrude can't actually see the ghost, would we say that's probably the moment in which up here he's actually mad? I mean, like
He can't stop himself.
Right.
He can't stop himself. Have you ever been so mad at somebody and then you say, I can't believe you did this to me. I'm so sorry, I can't believe it either. But you practiced your speech. You have a lot. And let me tell you something else you do. I said, I'm sorry. I'm horrible. I'm the devil's child. But let me tell you what else. That you get so worked up, and especially when you have time to think about it. Remember, he's been thinking about this the whole play. as a parent, for instance, my, just pick a child, all three of mine, pretty spirited young people. And I remember one of them coming in one time, and I just had a feeling that she hadn't been where she said she was. So she comes in the door like, I said, all right, I know exactly where you've been tonight. And I mean, maybe I didn't say it quite like that, but maybe I did. I know exactly where you've been tonight. So you might as well tell me. She said, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then she just blurted out what she'd been. But I wasn't through. I'd been waiting for 2 hours with my speech. I'd practiced it in front of a mirror. Okay, you know. So I just went, I wanted to go on and on. That, and if you've ever felt that way, then you know how Hamlet feels. He just can't stop. He just can't stop. It's a manic form. Okay, happy rest of your senior year. And, yeah.
Christian had something.
Oh, please, oh my gosh, child.
Okay, so you know how, I don't know how to say it, the queen, considers him mad because he's saying, oh, there's a ghost there. But wouldn't the, guards be considered mad to be?
Well, I didn't see it, but what?
The queen said that Hamlet was mad because he said that he saw the ghost.
Yes,
Wouldn't the guards be considered as mad because they saw the ghost too?
no, because they saw something, or imagined something, or saw it, and that's why Horatio is so important, because he is so level-headed. That's why they wanted to bring Horatio. See, Horatio, you said it was just our imagination. And he sees the ghost and said, I pretty much thought it was, but now I see it too. So, but Gertrude can't see him. So whether or not, you know, is there a ghost or not? Depends on how you define ghost, isn't it?
Actually, I was gonna ask that, because, with Macbeth, I actually kind of made the witches as less of like an actual supernatural thing, and I went for more of a, like.
Yeah, but they're presented that way. Thank you. They're presented as just kind of homeless women walking through the forest. Hags, they're called midnight hags. But one other thing, in seeing Hamlet, I have seen it where I've seen it where this person appears, you know, with all in white, I'm the ghost. But I've also seen it portrayed where there is no person. There's just this shadow and a voice. So it could be, I mean, I've heard, this is Lent. You've heard somebody say this very week, and I'm not putting it down. God told me that I needed to do this week. Well, could it be just have this strong feeling? I'm sorry I even mentioned religion, but when you have this strong intuition, when you feel like, all I know is that I'm not supposed to go to TCU. I just know that that's not right for me. I can't explain it, but I just know it. Are you going to TCU?
No, I thought it was funny that it's Texas Christian University. We're talking about that.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. I better leave. Are you sure we didn't have the recorder on? No, I'm not getting into religion, but it's, what, aliens out there? Are there ghosts? Oh. Bye, it's time for me to leave. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, the best.